Welcome to Keep Traveling Your African Story, the only podcast that shares the real voices and journeys shaping African tourism. I'm your host, Rael Zieve, and I've been part of the African tourism industry for over 20 years. Through my inbound tour operation, Keep Traveling, I've had the privilege of connecting travelers from all around the world with the magic of Africa. This podcast is my way of opening that world up to you, a place to learn about the people, properties, and opportunities that make travel across this continent so very special. Today, I'm delighted to introduce Nathan Daly, who's the Guest Relations Manager at Lanzerac, who joins me to share their African story. Nathan, welcome to the show.
Hi, Rael. Thank you for having me.
It's a great pleasure to have you. For our international listeners, can you tell us where the property is located?
So we are situated just on the outskirts of Stellenbosch in the Jonkershoek Valley.
Okay, and now as a guest relations manager, Nathan, was this always going to be the plan for you? Were you always going to get into some kind of tourism or hospitality?
I do come from a hospitality background. I started quite young in the industry, traveled a bit overseas to do it. It was always a passion of mine. I've always been a people kind of person. And I spent most of that time in the food and beverage side. And then I got the opportunity here to move on into the guest relations, which was a great move and something I'm passionate about. So, yeah.
So tell me, what's a normal day for you like at the property?
It all depends on the guest. So it's never the same. Each day is completely unique and different. But a lot of the time it's spending with the guests, spending with agencies and things like that, and just trying to show what Lanzerac is and how amazing the property is, make people appreciate and enjoy it.
On that note, what makes your property different from the other properties around you in the Winelands area?
Well, of course, Stellenbosch is quite an old town, so there's a lot of, the Cape Dutch style and uniqueness around it. But Lanzerac, the hotel side of the world, it's got a lot of history. The farm was established in 1692, so it comes with a lot of history and a lot of family ownership throughout those years. When the hotel was developed, which was 1959 by David Rawdon, they kept a lot of that classic look and feel. And, you come into this hotel and you can feel the story and the history behind it. And that's probably, to me, is one of the most unique and beautiful things about the property.
Is there a particular story behind the name Lanzerac?
So Lanzerac back then, 1692, was called Jonkershoek, and it stayed that way up until a lady named Mrs. English who came in the 1920s, who bought the farm, and she actually eventually named the farm after a French general. His name was General Lanzerac, so she came back home and renamed Jonkershoek to Lanzerac after him.
That's very interesting. Thank you. What do guests always rave about after having left Lanzerac?
I think our biggest one is the team members. Every time we get a review or some correspondence, some feedback, it's just how happy the team were, how welcoming the team were. Of course, the grounds are always up there in the listing, but it comes back to the team. We've got guests that have been coming back for years and years because we've got team members that have been here for so long and they remember them and they bond with them and connect. That is probably the biggest feedback we get. Of course, come and visit Lanzerac, you'll see the grounds are just beautiful, it's quiet, it's peaceful. That's always a big thing that they talk about. And then, of course, the rooms. The hotel rooms are completely unique in design, each and every one of them. So each one's got its own feel and touch to it. And that's always a big talked about subject in the feedback.
You spoke about the teams. I know I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit here, but is there one particular person on the team that really stands out for you?
There's multiple, actually. We've been talking about a particular one recently, and we call her Auntie Mona or Auntie Mona. She recently celebrated 50 years here at Lanzerac as an employee. She's been here from early days of the hotel opening. She's still around, and she's been a vital part of Lanzerac's journey. Even to me, when I stepped in the front door for the first time, she was my go-to person. She was the one who taught me. We've got other team members that have been here for 20 years. We talk about an Auntie Violet who makes the world's best scones, I can tell you that. She's got a passion for what she does. We can talk about our general manager who got us all through COVID, who took care of every single person on the property during those tough times. So there's a lot of people that stand out.
Now, obviously your day's really busy, I'm sure. Do you have a favorite spot on the property that you might go to during your sort of break time that you can sort of maybe take your jacket off, take the tie off, sit back, have a coffee, chill, relax?
Lanzerac does provide a team member canteen. It's a little bit away from the hotel and the property, so you can decompress a little bit up there. But otherwise, me personally, I enjoy just, if it gets a bit busy, to just walk around. There's so many little corners and spots on the property to just go, and it's quiet and it's peaceful. And so just enjoy a little bit of a walk to relax, de-stress.
I'm sure you have to do that from time to time, depending on what sort of guests that you may or may not have at the time.
All guests are wonderful.
So based on that, do you have any touching or funny stories with a particular guest or guests that you can share with us? And you don't have to mention names, but just particular incidences.
We do have a couple of guests that are, if I could say, long stay, or they've been here so many times that you get to know them quite well. And it's actually the other day, and we were just talking about how the place was so busy and going on. And he turned around and said, "Don't worry, go home, I've got this." And he actually told me he will take care of the floor. So I actually asked him if he wanted to take my jacket. He said he doesn't even need it. So, you get those kind of interactions nowadays with the guests, and especially ones that come back.
Guests that are coming sort of for the first time, and especially ones that have traveled from far away, how do you make those people feel at home?
Lanzerac, I think, does it itself. That's a point we don't actually have to solve. The moment you walk in and you feel like you're at home, you feel that, you've got the old cabinets in the walls and the furniture, it actually gives you that homely feeling. But of course, we do everything we can when it comes to the rooms and to make sure the rooms are the most comfortable. It's got underfloor heating. All the furniture looks beautiful, and there's mini bars in the rooms and things like that. So the guests feel comfortable enough to actually just stay in their room, which of course we don't want. We want them to explore the whole property. But just going into these hotel rooms here, you sometimes don't even want to leave for your whole stay. And of course, we welcome guests as they arrive by their names. Even if they haven't been with us, we already know who they are. The team is there with warm towels and champagne or sparkling wine. So immediately, it's a welcoming aspect to the property.
Sure. On a personal note, what do you think people misunderstand about the position that you hold in the company?
Yeah, I think the misunderstanding is that they assume that I can make everybody as happy as possible. But unfortunately, there is challenges, and those challenges take some time, and you don't always win, but a lot of the time you do. And it's a lot of work to go into that. It's not just to turn around and say, here we go, problem solved. You have to spend time with the people and the guests and to work out and understand how they feel and in a way bond with them so that they kind of bond back and understand that you're actually there to try and help.
I'm sure it's not easy to appease everybody all the time.
No, not always.
What do you love most about the area, beyond just the views and the beautiful gardens that you've mentioned, but the area of Stellenbosch? What do you love most about that?
Well, one thing about Stellenbosch being mostly a student town, it's vibrant, it's energy, there's a lot going on all the time. We might be up by the Jonkershoek Valley, but we're 3.5 kilometers away from the center of town. Again, there's restaurants, some of the best food around, there's museums, there's history. I won't lie, there's a party happening there and a party happening here, and there's just people walking the streets, and it's a positive energy around you.
It's a proper sort of university vibe throughout the town of Stellenbosch, isn't it?
Yeah, it is indeed, yeah.
Are there any sort of traditional foods that guests always fall in love with?
Absolutely. We do have a few different restaurants to cater for all guest needs. For example, we've got like the tapas, which does a lot of your steaks and burgers, and we're known for our tapas burger and our pinotage burger. They're very, very popular. And if you go down to the taste room in Delhi, you can see the guests are all there for the scones and things like that as well. I mean, of course, we have different experiences happening. For instance, in the Manic Kitchen restaurant, where we have this 7-course experience, and that's 7 dishes paired with 7 wine. So guests are coming for those experiences.
Sure. I wonder how people actually get up and walk away after having drunk 7 different glasses of wine. I don't think I could, but I've seen those kinds of things before. Of course, internationals come to South Africa because, or should I say Africa, for a lot of nature and that type of thing. So what can prospective guests expect to see as far as a nature experience around the Stellenbosch area?
Well, we just down the road from the Jonkershoek Nature Reserve. I mean, you can take a car in 5 minutes drive. You're right outside the front gates of the nature reserve. It's one straight road, so you can walk or cycle there. And that offers you huge valley. And there's, mountain bike paths, there's hiking trails. And it'll give you all the sides of nature, into the fynbos and the mountains and that kind of thing as well.
What are your hopes for the future of the property?
I mean, to keep doing as well as we're doing. I started just before COVID, so I'm not fully aware of how it was operating before COVID, but obviously COVID was tough for everyone. And it took a year and a bit to, come back from that. But since then, we've just got bigger, better and stronger. We're popular and we're busy, and the team is doing well and the team is happy. So pretty much just that going forward, and to keep going like that and to keep ourselves up on top.
Well, you managed to get through COVID. I'm sure that you're going to continue to progress in a positive way. So let's just talk about your clientele for a little bit. Where are most of your clientele coming from as far as the demographic is concerned?
It depends during the year, but it's mostly United Kingdom, USA, the Germany and Netherlands. A big market that's taken on is Brazil, since they had that direct flights. So those are some of your bigger ones.
Obviously, the direct flight, that makes a huge difference, right? Being able to fly directly into Cape Town.
Yeah, definitely.
And with those guests coming from all the different parts of the world that you mentioned, if there was one feeling that you would want them to leave with, what would you want that to be?
Is to wish to come back. They enjoyed our property so much that the moment they land back at home is to start planning their trip back.
You should be in the sales department, never mind the guest relations. Now, people from the first world, be it the Americas or Europe, Asia, there's some perspective of Africa still being an unsafe part of the world to come to. What would you say to those people that are still unsure about traveling to Africa as a whole for the first time?
I'm born and bred just down the road. And of course, I have heard all about how everybody feels South Africa is unsafe. Of course, there are areas that are unsafe, just like anywhere else in the world. You go down the wrong alley, it's not going to be safe. But from our side, or from my side, it's how you manage it. Obviously, if you take the care and you plan properly, and you go to locations like Stellenbosch where you can walk the streets and, other places in Cape Town and things like that, take the necessary care and it'll be worth every second, because there's so much to see, so much to do in South Africa, and, the cultures and the people to meet and to learn about. It's definitely worth planning it properly and coming for a visit and seeing what South Africa is, because you won't be disappointed in it.
Good. Just coming to the end of our chat, Nathan, where can people find Lanzerac online and follow the story?
You can just visit our website. It's www.lanzerac.co.za.
You posting on social media?
We have Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. You can definitely follow. There's regular posts, regular updates going on, all the events happening.
Awesome. And I know that for a lucky listener, you guys have been very generous in offering an awesome prize giveaway. Can you tell us in your own words what you're going to be giving away?
We're going to be giving away a 2-night stay in one of our classic rooms, and that includes your wine tasting and, of course, breakfast for your stay.
Listen, thank you very much. I really appreciated your time today and hearing a little bit more about Lanzerac. Thank you for coming on the show, and it was awesome chatting with you.
Thank you very much. Nice to meet you.
Thank you, Nathan, for sharing your story and for everything you're doing to grow African tourism. Don't forget, every week we feature fantastic prize giveaways from some of Africa's most beautiful lodges, camps, and travel partners. You could win your own unforgettable getaway. To enter or to read more about today's guest, head over to our website, www.keeptraveling.africa/podcast, or follow Keep Traveling on social media for the latest episodes, stories, and travel inspiration. I'm Rael Zieve, and this has been Keep Traveling, Your African Story. Remember, a few years from now, you will not remember how much it cost you, but you'll never forget the memories you made. Keep traveling.